Ever felt like you're good at something without ever learning it? Like your hands just know before you do, or your heart recognizes people before you've even met them? Yeah, I felt that. And it made me start wondering if this life is really the first one, or just another class in a cycle way bigger than we can imagine. Since I was a kid, I had these super vivid dreams, places I'd never been, languages I'd never learned, and fears that didn't make any sense. Little by little, I started realizing there was something beyond what you can see, like my soul was carrying memories my brain couldn't reach. And that's when it hit me. Life's a school. And me? Just an old student with a bunch of unfinished homework and a few failing grades on my spiritual report card. I started looking into reincarnation, but not in a preachy or fantasy way. I found this surprisingly logical cosmic idea. Each life is a lesson. Each birth, a new notebook. Each death, swapping out your textbook. And what really matters is what we learn. Just picture this. In one life, you learn how to lose. In the next, how to start over. In one, you learn to lead. In another, to follow. In one, you love like crazy. In another, you learn to let go. Your soul just keeps collecting experiences like someone putting together a giant puzzle, until you become a whole person, clear-headed, empathetic, and wide awake. Some souls pick subjects: art, music, spirituality, justice. They spend hundreds of years getting really good at that one thing. Others are still in their first year of school, testing boundaries, falling down, and getting back up. And that's totally okay. Everyone's got their own pace. You know that person who's born with this crazy talent? A Mozart, a Messi, a Frida Kahlo? They've probably gone through countless lives practicing that stuff. That gift isn't just luck, it's from years and years of trying. Just like you, that thing you're super drawn to might just be an echo of something your soul has already lived and wants to live again or figure out. And the coolest thing is, nothing's ever really lost. Your soul records everything. Even the stuff that feels like a screw up, like fear, anger, regret, turns into a lesson. Whatever you didn't want to face now will come back later. Not as punishment, but as another shot at growing. Reincarnation is basically this huge emotional and spiritual education system. It made me think, aren't we all in this giant cosmic school where every human is a student trying to get what it means to love, respect, forgive, and be free? Some people are held back a grade, others zoom ahead, and some, they become the teachers. But none of us are here by accident. I learned to see my own problems as tests, not punishments. That tough relationship, the job frustration, the loss, the emptiness, those are assignments that need to be solved with more love, more awareness. And when that happens, something shifts. Your soul grows, and life starts to make a lot more sense. So, if you're here listening to this right now, maybe it's because it's time to remember that your soul is old, and that this life, with all its ups and downs, is just another class on your journey to becoming who you really are. In the end, it's not about how many lives we've had, but what we did with each one. And today could be the first day you choose to really learn. Ready to open that new notebook? Sometimes I just stop and think, does karma work like some invisible judge? Or is it more like an algorithm, like the ones on social media, that just responds to what we put into the system? This question started bugging me after I got canceled for something I don't even remember doing with bad intentions. I don't know if you've ever been there, one wrong word, a comment at the wrong time, and suddenly it feels like the whole universe is against you. But what if that little bit of chaos is just a reflection, a mirror of something we're putting out there on the inside? That was the turning point that made me see karma differently. Most people think karma is punishment. You did bad, you're going to pay. But what if I told you that karma is actually a universal feedback system? Like the universe is saying, hey, that thing you did, it's still not quite in line with who you really are. Want to try again? We live in a world today where everything's instant. Opinions, judgments, likes and dislikes. But karma, it's patient. It watches not just what you do, but what you feel, what you think, and even what you choose to ignore. It's not a courtroom. It's a loving intelligence trying to get you aligned with your true self. I started to realize that a lot of the time, what comes back to me isn't punishment. It's an echo. You know that moment when you ignore someone who needs help? and then you find yourself alone, not knowing why. Or when you lie to protect your ego, and then you feel like nobody trusts you. Karma isn't about paying back. It's about feeling what you cause so you can learn. What if karma was like a spiritual algorithm? A system that tracks our choices and delivers experiences that match our inner vibe? Just like YouTube shows you videos you usually watch, the universe also gives you situations that you click within your heart. If you're putting out fear, guilt, anger, guess what shows up on your life screen? Conflict, loss, anxiety. But if you start putting out forgiveness, being present, empathy, everything changes. People change. Opportunities show up, and you start to break free from the loop. Today I see every disagreement, every uncomfortable feeling as a code. A message saying, there's something here you still need to work through. And when I can look at it honestly, even when it hurts, something starts to heal inside. And that's the real point of karma. It's not to punish you, it's to set you free. The digital age has trained us to look for outside approval, to put on a show of who we are. But karma sees right through that. It responds to who we really are, not who we pretend to be for others. It's the silent justice of the heart. And if you feel like you're stuck in negative cycles that never change, maybe it's not because the universe wants to punish you, but because it's waiting for you to finally get it. To take ownership of your life and say, enough. I want to change this. And the good news is, you can start right now. With one small act, with a kinder word, with a forgiveness you've been holding on to for years. And when your vibe changes, the spiritual algorithm changes too. It's almost magic and totally real. So, the next time life feels unfair, try switching the question from, why is this happening to me, to what is this trying to teach me? That simple change in question can be the first step to getting out of the cycle and starting a new chapter in your story. And you? What has karma been trying to show you lately? If this thought hit home for you, leave a comment below and share your take on it. And of course, if you want more stuff like this, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. There's a lot of good stuff coming, and you're a big part of it. For a long time, I carried a weight I couldn't explain. Irrational fears, over-the-top reactions, a sadness that would just pop up out of nowhere. It was like there was something inside me that wasn't exactly mine, and that's when I started to consider, could some of the pain we feel in this life not have started here? Reincarnation started to make sense to me when I understood that the body dies, but trauma doesn't. It changes, it hides, it disguises itself, and then it pops up again as repeating patterns. That relationship that always ends the same way. That feeling of being abandoned, even when you're surrounded by love. Anger for no reason. Fear of living. These things don't just happen. They're emotional memories of the soul. And science, surprisingly, is starting to recognize this. Epigenetics has already shown that traumas can be passed down biologically, like the body holds on to scars from what our ancestors went through. Now imagine what happens with the soul, which goes through not just generations, but centuries. Each life leaves invisible marks. Some healed, others still open. And the ego, that identity we put on in each lifetime, tries to protect these wounds. Sometimes by attacking, other times by isolating, other times by manipulating. And we don't even realize it. I discovered, for example, that whenever someone ignored me, I'd blow up. Not because of pride, but because of fear. Fear of being invisible, rejected. And when I went deeper in meditation, I realized that fear came from another life, one where I was abandoned by my family. It was like my soul was still expecting to be left behind. And when I realized that, everything changed. I started to look at my reactions not as flaws, but as messages, signs that there was something to be healed. The ego fought back, of course. It would say, "You're right, they offended you." But the soul would whisper, "Look deeper." That's why I believe reincarnation and psychology are allies. Therapy helped me name my monsters. Spirituality showed me where they came from. And together, they taught me that I'm not my past, but I am responsible for changing it. When you understand that this anxiety, this emptiness, or this guilt might be old echoes, you stop blaming yourself, and you start to heal. The soul doesn't want you to suffer. It wants you to understand. because that's the only way the cycle breaks. And here's a secret. You don't need to remember your past lives to heal. What you need is to listen to what your current life is telling you. Everything that repeats, emotions, situations, pains, is pointing you towards something that needs to be looked at with love. And when you embrace that, the soul feels safe. The trauma loses its power. The ego relaxes. Healing begins. We're not broken beings. We're beings in reconstruction. And every emotional challenge is a loose piece trying to fit back into place. Sometimes it hurts to put it in, but when it clicks, the piece is immense. So, if there's something inside you that weighs you down, that feels unexplainable, maybe the answer is beyond what your eyes can see. Maybe it's in your heart, in your energy, in your oldest story. And you have everything you need to break free. You just need to start listening. And if this video resonated with you, leave a comment saying, "I'm ready to heal." That's already a step. And of course, if you want to continue this journey with me, subscribe to the channel. We still have a long way to go. I remember the exact moment I realized there was something in me that wasn't real. A noise, a rush, a constant need to show off, to please, to be right, to be seen. And when it hit me, I just went quiet, because I realized that rush wasn't mine. It belonged to the artificial darkness I had been shaped by. We live in times where everything feels urgent. Opinions, performance, perfection. We create emotional avatars to survive in an increasingly fake world. But deep down, what's been lost is something simple. The connection to our inner light. Today, darkness doesn't have horns or dramatic shadows anymore. It has Wi-Fi, algorithms, filters. It dresses up as easy dopamine, endless distraction, constant comparison. And it doesn't kill us. It just empties us out. Little by little, I started noticing how, day after day, I was drifting away from myself. I had a good phone, but no peace. I knew everything about the world, but I didn't know how to listen to the silence of my own soul anymore. Today's darkness is elegant. It offers you everything except the truth. And then I realized something. The true source, that light that so many traditions call divine, doesn't shout. It whispers. It asks for silence to be heard. But how can we hear it if we're always connected to everything except ourselves? That's when the awakening began. A subtle but irreversible process. It's not something that happens with a snap of your fingers. It's more like a gradual loosening. A growing awareness that what you've been taught as normal is actually making you sick. That life needs pauses, presence, depth. I started cutting out the noise, reconnecting with nature, listening more and talking less, meditating, writing, going for aimless walks. And little by little, that inner light, the one I thought had gone out, started to shine again. And I saw it was never gone. It was just covered up. Inner light doesn't depend on religion, ritual, dogma. It's your essence. And when we start to clear out the clutter that the modern world has put inside us, it comes out naturally. All it needs is space. All it needs is intention. And the beautiful thing is, this awakening isn't just individual. It's happening collectively. I see it all around us. People who used to live on autopilot are now questioning things. Folks who've quit everything to live with purpose. Young people who see beyond screens. Older people who are starting to talk about the soul. We're remembering. But of course, the darkness feels this too. And it responds with more distractions, more fear, more division. Because the more we wake up, the more it loses control. And that's when the choice becomes clear. Either we follow the easy, fake, soulless flow, or we make the effort to reignite the spark that lives inside us. And even if it seems hard, it's worth every step. Because when you wake up, the world around you starts to change too. The collective awakening isn't a loud revolution. It's a silent shift that starts in the heart of each person. It's the moment you look in the mirror and finally see yourself, not as the character, but as the awareness that inhabits it. And maybe, just maybe, we're here in this life exactly for this reason. To remember, to awaken, to light up such a strong light within us that no darkness, no matter how tempting, can ever put it out. For a long time, I thought Earth was just a stopover, a beautiful planet, but full of suffering, inequality, chaos. It felt like nothing here made sense. But the more I grew, spiritually and emotionally, the more I realized this place is a project, a divine experiment, a mission. Earth isn't the punishment. It's the lab. And every soul incarnated here is here for a reason. Some to heal, others to teach, others to rebuild. But all of them, without exception, to evolve. And if you're alive right now, in this specific moment in history, believe me, you're part of it. There have never been so many human beings alive at the same time. Never has the planet's energy been so intense. According to scientific data itself, in 1850, we were 1 billion. In 2023, we passed 8 billion. It's like a crowd of souls has been called back to the same stage at the same time. And then I asked myself, are we here for something bigger than just surviving? And the answer came like a whisper, yes. We're here to transform fear into courage, division into unity, pain into wisdom. We're here to heal ancient wounds, break free from destructive patterns, and create a new way of living. More connected, more loving, more conscious. But it's not enough to wait for miracles. Project Earth needs active participation, and the miracle starts within. When you choose to act with kindness even when no one is watching. When you plant a tree or a smile. When you listen to someone with an open heart. When you forgive yourself. Every small act is like a spark of light. And the truth is, we don't need everyone to change the world. All it takes is for a part of us to wake up, and the rest starts to follow. It's like fire in dry grass. One can ignite many. Earth is testing us, yes, but it's also offering us everything. Abundant nature, diverse cultures, infinite ways to create and love. It's up to us to decide what we're going to do with it. Imagine for a second what the world would be like if everyone lived with the awareness that they are a soul on a mission, that every encounter has a purpose, that every difficulty is a lesson, that true happiness isn't in having things, but in sharing. That world is possible, and it starts now within me, within you, within us. The Project Earth is, in reality, the project of the human soul, and it's still under construction. But I believe, from the bottom of my heart, that we're closer than ever to making it a reality. If you feel this too, if you feel like your soul was called back to this world for a reason, then answer the call. Light up your light. Participate. And never doubt the power that a single awakened soul can have on an entire civilization. Thank you for sticking with me this far. If this message touched you, share it with someone. Comment below. I'm part of Project Earth, so we know you're with us on this journey. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, because together, we're going to transform this world into something truly divine.